Good morning, students. Welcome back to my 28th lecture, subject CPC 505. That is the Environmental Engineering 2. Today, I am going to deliver my lecture on the Module 6. What is the Module 6? What is the topic of the Module 6? The topic is as per your syllabus curriculum, it is I mean to say, the sludge handling and the disposal. So today I will deliver one of the topic in the module 6, that is the sludge handling and disposal. So sludge thickening part. Basically the module consists of the three parts. One is the sludge thickening, sludge digestion and the sludge drying bed. So today I will discuss one of the treatment of the sludge processing, that is the sludge thickening. Fine. Now, the sludge means the residue. After the wastewater treatment, the residue, the solid, mainly majority content portion of is the organic matter. In the residue portion, it's a mixture of the solid biomass and the liquid. Now, the interesting thing is that the sludge contains the 97% after the treatment. As I have told you, it is the residue, that means which is remains after the treatment is water. A typical water content of the wastewater treatment in the sludge remains 97% to 99.5%. So that portion is the water portion of the sludge. Then we can consider the dry solid content. It is 0.5 to 1% in case of secondary sludge. That is the sludge generated from the secondary treatment, biological treatment, and the primary treatment, that is the sedimentation tank. The sludge, in this sludge, the dry solid content percentage is 4%. So what we have seen in the primary sludge, the dry solid percentage content is more, and the secondary sludge to some extent is low compared to the primary sludge. Now this sludge has to be treated, and before disposal, sludge management, that is before the sludge disposal, sludge has to be treated because it contains the organic matter which is easily decomposed, and the volume of the sludge has to be reduced for properly handling. So that's why our target is to reduce the water from the sludge so that the volume will get decreased. For example, if I tell that the sludge, suppose there is a 1% solid and 99% is water. That means we can consider 1 kg sludge and 99 kg water. I mean to say 90 liter, 99 liter water, that means 99 kg water. Now, if we reduce the water and we produce the 10% solid, so that means what I am telling, I am telling that the volume of the solid portion will be the same, only we are extracting the water. That means 1 kg solid will be remaining and it will be transformed the 9 kg out of 99 water. We will expel the water, extract the water, and will be reduced to 9, so that 9 plus 1 will be 10 kg. That means from 100 to 10 kg, that means 90% we have reduced by dewatering. If we can reduce the 90% sludge volume if we provide 1%, if we provide the 10% from one person's solid generation. So this is I am telling you what is the impact if percentage of solid is going to increase from 1% to 10%, then volume volume is getting drastically from 100 to 10, that is 90% volume of the sludge is reduced. So we can see, for properly handling and disposal of the sludge, the reduction of the volume, that is the reduction of the water from the sludge, is very, very essential. So the first process I will tell, that is the sludge thickening. What is this? Now it is a process by which solids are condensed, that means sedimented, it is solid are condensed to increase the dissolved solid content of sludge by reducing the water content with low energy input. What we are doing here, we are allowing to settle the sludge. One type of sedimentation, that means it is thickening. That means sludge, the dissolved content of the solid is going to increase and the water content is going to decrease. Again, I am telling the dissolved solid content is going to increase in the sludge thickening process so that the sludge will become dense and reducing, and the water content will be reducing. So this is the concept of sludge thickening. Now the thickening wastewater solids reduces the volume of residuals, improves operation, and reduces cost for subsequent storage, processing, transfer, end use, or disposal. Finally, our aim is for disposal of the solid waste, I mean to say the sludge, and that is under the solid waste management, that is the disposal part of the sludge. So, thickening of the wastewater finally reduces the cost subsequent storage, processing, transfer, and end use or disposal. Now, first I will just elaborately explain the gravity or mechanical thickening devices which will be using to treat primary sludge, secondary sludge, or mix of both. So there are various thickening process. So first I will just highlight the gravity thickener. That is the very important and mostly used this gravity thickener for settling the sludge, for thickening the sludge, rather I would say. The easiest way to reduce the water content of the sludge with low energy consumption, because it is simply by gravity thickening. That means no energy consumption by any energy, power, or equipment or like these things. Similar to center-fed circular sedimentation, tank in appearance with more steep floor slope. You see the bottom, that is the bottom of the tank. It's a type of sedimentation basin, circular site. You can see in the figure, and the bottom slope of the tank is in steep slope. Why steep slope? For the thickening of the sludge, for the sedimentation, for augmentation of the sedimentation process of the sludge. That means the thickening of the sludge portion, for increasing the dissolved solid content portion of the sludge, and the inflow can be done as shown in arrow, that is the sludge inlet from left side to right side, or it can be from upwards, from down to the central column. There also the feed can be done. So the two way the sludge feed can be done. One way left to right, that is in the elevation portion I have shown you, and other is the center fed. It can be the center fed, that is the central column from bottom. From bottom also, from center column, it can be fed. And finally, after settling the sludge outlet, the sludge is recovered, and the withdrawal supernatant water, that is the effluent water, is shown outward in the outflow weir, as shown in the right hand upper portion arrow, which is shown. So the sludge is pumped to the tank equipped with a slowly rotating rake mechanism, which breaks the junction between the sludge particles and therefore increases settling and compaction. What is the function of this rotating rake mechanism? It breaks the junction between the sludge particles and increasing the settling and compaction. Fine. The total volume of the sludge can be reduced by 90% from the original value. That I have shown you. Suppose if an example I am giving, 1% sludge means 1 kg of solid and 99 portion, that is the 99 liter of the water, if I increasing from 1% to 10%, then finally I have already indicated that from 100 it has been reduced to 10. That means 90% reduction in the volume is possible, in origin volume is possible by simply increasing the 10% of the solid content from 1% to 10% that I have shown you. So total sludge volume can be reduced by up to 90% from the original volume. Fine. Next, I am just going to the solid loading rates in the gravity thickener. Let us see. Now it depends on different types of source of sludge where it is generated after the wastewater treatment. Primary settling tank, PST or primary sedimentation tank, there is one source of sludge where the solids loading rate is 90 to 150. That is in kg of total solid per meter square per day. Now the source of sludge is the activated sludge. If it is a, I mean to say, the biological traditional treatment system, where the type of sludge is conventional extended aeration, it is a type of sludge. So here the loading rate, that means 20 to 30 to 25 to 40, that loading rate, solids loading rate in gravity thickener. For the trickling filter, mixed sludge, that is the primary plus for the trickling filter, that is the attachment process, the loading rate is 35 to 40 kg total solid per meter square per day. And for mixed sludge, that is both the primary, for the activated sludge, that is the hybrid sludge, I mean to say, that is the activated plus trickling. So 25 to 80, it should be less than 25 to 80 TS, that means the total solid in kg per meter square per day. Now, without flocculant adds, there are two types of, I mean to say, there are two types of the thickening can be done, that is without flocculant adds and with flocculant adds, that is the polymers. When we are going for processing the thickening of the sludge, that is the without flocculation and without the chemical, then the primary sludge here 5 to 10% is the dry solid. Where the mixture of primary excess solid is there, then the primary without flocculant aids, it is 4 to 6% DS, that is the dry solid, and with flocculant aids, somehow it will be increased. So 5 to 8%. You must observe that for primary sludge with flocculant and in polymers will have no effect, because we are using the with flocculant and polymer to the secondary, from the secondary and tertiary process. That is the primary and excess sludge. So mixture of primary and excess sludge. So this is the about the gravity, that is the what I have described, that is the gravity thickener. So it's one type of settling unit. Now second, I will describe, that is the dissolved air flotation thickening. What does it dissolved air flotation thickening? So it is basically for the treatment of waste activated sludge, that is for suspended core process, the activated sludge process. After the treatment of wastewater, whatever the waste, that is the residue, that is the sludge is generated, that is suitably treated with the dissolved air flotation thickening. Now how it works? You see the left portion here also, the bottom portion is steep slope for sedimentation, for settling purpose of the sludge, that is the dry solid volume. Now you see the activated sludge is shown in white arrow, and simultaneously here is also supplied into the thickening unit. That means what I am trying to say, the air and sludge activated sludge both are fed into the thickening unit. So the minute air bubble get attached. What technology it is being created? The technology is that minimum air bubble, minute air bubbles as I am passing the air along with the activated sludge. So the minute air bubbles get attached to the solids and cause the solids to separate from the water. As it is mixed with air, so it gets separated from the water in an upward direction, and this happens because solid particles with the attached bubble have lower specific gravity than water. Since the solid particles are lower specific gravity for water, so it is uplifted, that is, it is in upward direction by the thrust of the air. The degree of addition depends on surface properties of the solids. So the upward movement particles from a sludge blanket on the surface of the flotation thickener. So solids, where the solids can be seen, it is uplifted, it is in upward movement by the air in the top layer of the thickener. Addition of the alum polyelectrolytes can increase the efficiency of the flotation unit. This upward movement can be enhanced by addition of the alum electrolytes like this in the flotation unit. So what is the technology working in this air flotation thickening? Now the solid which is floated in the upper layer and carried by the air throughout the upward movement, it is been removed, it is been scraping from the top surface, and the thickening sludge can be removed from right side shown as arrow, and the clear effluent goes out to the wear out from the left portion which has been shown. So this mechanism is working in the dissolved air flotation thickening, where through the media of air, by supplying the air, we are just floating up the solid material which has been scraped out from the top surface. Thickening sludge portion with organic matter is, I mean to say, it will be collected through the right side inlet, right side outlet, and the bottom side wear portion, the clear effluent will be collected. Okay. Now this is about the dissolved air flotation. Now I am coming to the portion of the mechanical thickening. As the name is mechanical, so it is used for thickening excess used sludge in large wastewater treatment plant by sophisticated of equipments fitted with this thickening unit. So gives some electrical energy, because some mechanized equipment is required the energy and may require propellant and can be operating continuously. The mode of operation can be made continuously. So the mechanical thickening equipment options include screw like the screw mechanism, drum mechanism, belt and centrifuge mechanism that we will see in subsequent portion of the pages. Now these technical systems require a high degree of operator supervision, because this is a mechanized system, so definitely it requires a high degree of operator supervision and the operator training, because the operator should be trained to handle this type of equipment and this type of technology, which is the electrical energy oriented. So this mechanical thickening, subsequently I am discussing. First I will discuss the sludge centrifugation. What do you mean by the centrifugal thickening? Now centrifugal force, that means the centrifugal thickening is acceleration of the sedimentation through the centrifugal force. So what is the addition of air compared to the gravity thickener? Now here the centrifugal force, by applying the centrifugal force, the acceleration of the sedimentation portion is enhanced, is augmented, is increased. So that is why it is called the centrifugal thickening. So sludge centrifugation. Now you can see in the figure the operational speed from the gearbox. Left side the box, that is the gearbox, is shown, and from there the operational speed are maintained that means it will be rotating, centrifugal force is generated. So there it is a gearbox is there. Then the centered discharge part, it is also centered discharge part, adjustable, that will also show over here. It will be the overall unit is under the cover. The rotating bowl we can see from the figure, and the deodoring beach also we can see. Now the mechanical portion bearing we can see. So the sludge. Acha, let me give you the operation now. This is the mechanical unit, that is the sludge centrifugation, and which is used in thickening waste activated sludge, and primary sludge is normally not fed. Why permanent sludge is not normally fed into that centrifugation sludge thickening? Because the primary sludge may contain the abrasive materials which may damage the centrifugal action in this mechanized system. So primary sludge is not being thickened by this process. It is applicable only for the secondary, that is the suspended sludge, that is the activated sludge process, which we have discussed in my previous lecture, the activated sludge treatment process. In addition of being effective in thickening, they have additional advantage of less space, because you see it's a compacted form under the cover. So it basically takes a less space. Okay, they have additional advantage of less space requirement, less odor potential, and housekeeping requirement. Because it takes a very less space, so housekeeping requirement, it can be it can be installed in a house. So very small compacted thing that you can see. So sludge centrifugation, that means here the sludge thickening is done. That means reduction of water is done by applying the centrifugal force, so that you see the rotating bowl is there in the peripheral wall. By the action of centrifugal force, the sludge are accumulated, and from there it is collected. You can see, because under the centrifugal force, just top layer, bottom layer of the wall, you can see there it is connected, and after that, from there the sludge is formed in a condensed manner, that is a sludge thickening is being produced by the force of the centrifugal, and then it is collected. Fine. Now the rotary drum thickener RDT. Rotary drum thickener RDT. So the rotary drum thickener typically consists of a stainless steel structural frame. It is basically a structural frame, structural distribution system, filtering drum, washing system, drum drive, full set of covers. Obviously the electric control panel should be there, because the electric is giving the power to rotate the arms, which is being inbuilt over there, because it is a rotary drum thickener. So sludge is internally fed from a head box. We can see the head box where from the sludge is internally fed, okay, or the flocculation tank after conditioning with polymer. Now water flows out through surface of the drum, and sludge is transported by the spiral screw along the drum, and finally out from the end of the drum. That means water, how does it operate? Now water flows out to the surface of the drum, and the sludge is transported by the spiral screw along the drum, and finally out from the end of the drum. So we can see that the spiral screw, by application of the spiral rotation of the spiral screw along the drum, are separating the sludge, solid, dry solid, dissolved solid portion from the water. The spiral screw makes sludge slowly inside the drum, so that water can come out from the sludge very effectively. So by the action of the spiral screw, we are separating the dry solid portion from the water, because water come out very slowly, effectively from the inside, as because the spiral screw mixes sludge slowly inside the drum. Now the gravity belt thickener GBT, what does it? It uses a slow moving fabric. You can see in the figure a belt, you can see it is a slow moving fabric belt. And what is the function of belt? Now this belt is separating the polymer preconditioned sludge solids and free water, because the belt, the adjacent surface of the sludge solid portion will be sticking to that belt, and thus they are giving free the water. Now the sludge thickening on the device is aided by multiple rows of plows and drainage elements, which slow the flow of sludge and provide additional retention time over the horizontal gravity belt. GBT, that means the gravity belt thickener, generally require a smaller footprint than other sludge thickening processes, are cost effective and use less energy than other mechanical thickening devices. Because you see, just the movement of the belt, just by the movement of the belt, we are separating the polymer preconditioned sludge, solids and free water. So student, please see the filtered portion are shown by the arrow, feed portion is the shown by the red arrow, top portion is the vent, and the thickener sludge, because why vent, the gas emerge, it will be emerged out to the vent, and the thickener sludge portion, that is the green right side portion arrow, where from the sludge, thickened sludge are being collected. So one side it is feeded, that is shown by the red arrow, and filtering portion in the mid portion it is being taken place, and finally the thickened sludge is collected as shown in the arrow at the bottom. So you can see the figure. Unless I show you the figure, you cannot well understand. Now, what is screw press thickener? Multi-disc screw, MDS. It is typically consists of thickening and dewatering zones. Thickening and dewatering zones. The filter cylinder is composed of fixed rings, moving rings located between the fixed rings, and screw shaft. So what we can see from the figure, we can see from the figure that there are the fixed plate, that is a fixed ring, and I can see the fixed ring and moving rings also I can see between the fixed rings, that you can see, and the screw shaft. Now the pitch of the screw and the gaps between the rings decrease at the end of the dewatering drum, that we also can see. Slowly the spacing is reduced at the end of the dewatering drum. Okay. Again I am repeating that the pitch of the screw, that is the distance of the successively portion of the thread of the screw, that is the pitch of the screw and the gaps between the rings, decrease at the end of the dewatering drum, hence increasing its internal pressure. So slowly we are increasing the internal pressure throughout the screw shaft by decreasing the spacing, by decreasing the pitch of the screw, that we can see. Hence, why we are increasing internal pressure? Because if we generate the internal pressure towards the end, that is towards the dewatering drum, then the moving rings are pushed up and down by screw shaft, resulting clean solid out from the gaps between the fixed rings continuously. So what we can observe, due to the push up and down, pushing up and down by the screw shaft, up and down of the screw shaft, clean solid will come out from the gaps between the fixed rings continuously. At the end plate further increases the pressure so as to discharge dry sludge cake. So we can see the dry sludge cake at the end, where the solids are being separated out throughout the fixed rings gaps. Okay. So by applying pressure in the screw shaft, we are separating the solids in between the fixed shaft, in between the fixed rings. So this we have observed. Now at the last portion of my lecture I have come, that is the sludge thickener performance and comparison. That means what comparison, what are the performance and comparison. That sludge thickener performance comparison is very, very important. Let us see first, the technology is the dissolved solid content, then the polymer consumption, then the energy consumption, maintenance, capacity and remarks. Now the fourth type of process of the sludge thickening we are showing over here. Screw thickener, drum thickener, belt thickener, centrifuge. Now let us observe the differential performance. That let us comparison. Let us see the comparison between the performance of different thickeners. Now if we see for the dry solid content for the screw thickener, 4 to 7% will be observed. Drum thickener 5 to 7, belt thickener 5 to 7, centrifuge 5 to 7. Only screw thickener it is 4 to 7. More or less same. Dry solid content will not fluctuate so much in the performance if we see for different types of sludge thickener. Polymer consumption, it is more, you can see, compared to the centrifuge. Only centrifuge as shown compared to 4 sludge thickening process. From the table it is observed that the centrifuge thickening process, the polymer consumption is less, so the energy consumption will be more. In other 3 areas of the sludge digestion process, the energy consumption is low because the polymer consumption is more. So more the polymer consumption taken place, the energy consumption was low, it was observed, and the less the polymer consumption taken place, that is in the last column, which you can see in the centrifuge, the high energy consumption will be taken place. Maintenance will be, all the cases is low. It is not so much sophisticated that maintenance will be high, so maintenance will be low for this type of 4 thickeners which we are discussing now. Now capacity and remarks. What are the capacity? In screw thickener it is 2200, drum thickener it is 10 to 70 meter cube per hour. That means that amount of treatment can be done. That volume of the sludge can be treated with this sludge thickening process. That is the significance of the capacity. So the belt thickener 24 to 180 we can observe, and maximum capacity which you can see in the centrifugal force, that is the 5 to 200. 5 to 200 meter cube per hour used without polymers possibly. That's why it is a high energy consumption process. Now the last portion of the note, that is of the today's note, that is the sludge thickening process. First treatment process of the sludge generated from the wastewater treatment, that is the performance and compression we are discussing. Now the centrifugation process, the sludge type which can be used, that is the activated sludge with polymer. In centrifugation process, we will not use the primary sludge, as because we have seen the primary sludge, some certain abrasive materials are there that may damage the centrifugal apparatus. Now expected performance in the centrifugation, you can see 8 to 10% TS and 80 to 90% solids. I mean to say dissolved solids. Now the capture with basket centrifuges, 4 to 6% TS, 80 to 90% solids, and this nozzle centrifuges 5 to 80% TS, 5 to 8% TS, and 70 to 90% solids. So this is about the centrifugation. Let us see the gravity well thickener unit. What is gravity well thickener unit? In gravity well thickener unit, so what the comparison of performance is concerned, you can see that it is basically applicable for the waste activated with polymer also, and 4 to 8% total solid and 95% solids captured. In rotary drum thickener, waste activated, again there is no change, same 4 to 8% TS and 90% solid capture. So gravity well thickener and the rotary drum more or less same, you can observe. Now the gravity, that is the gravity thickening process, the raw primary we can use, no doubt of this. So 80 to 10% TS expected to be, expected performance is 8 to 10% TS. Now the so primary sedimentation, primary sludge we can consider. Initially we have told you that dry solid is 4%, so that can be improved to 8%, that is double. Now the new primary, raw primary and waste activated, that is also 5 to 8% TS. Gravity waste activated 2 to 3% TS. Better results for oxygen rich activated sludge. Now again digested primary and waste activated, it is 8 to 14% TS. That is the expected performance we can see. And last I will describe, that is the dissolved air flotation unit, that is a DAF. Here we can see the waste activated, that is the generally not used for other sludge type, only it is used for the waste activated portion. 4 to 6% TS, greater than equal to 95% solids capture with sortation aids. So these are the mechanisms we have described for sludge thickening: how to reduce the water, how to condense the sludge, how to, because this is the primary treatment of the sludge, the first treatment of the sludge, which is required for further dewatering, further stabilization or digestion process, and for further drying bed, that will cover in the next 29 onwards lecture from the next day. So students, I will today what our discussion has been taken place regarding the treatment of sludge, that is the first treatment thickening portion. As per your syllabus is concerned, we will be uploading very shortly the lecture notes in a Google Classroom. Kindly have a glance to the lecture notes, and we will be very soon meeting in the online classes for one-to-one interaction discussion for any clarification, further queries if required, because these lecture notes I request you to go through. Any questions further or queries, it will be discussed in the one-to-one in the live interaction classes in Google Meet. So thank you. Have a nice day.